Yo, last December, I interviewed 2 high school coaches. I wasn't really familiar with them. I just thought they were doing great work. You know, I was admiring them from afar. And I reached out to the 2 coaches, said, hey, would you like to come on the podcast? We had some great conversations I did with each of them. A couple months later, those 2 coaches and their teams met in the city championship game. Now, I was in the crib hype, like, yo, I told you I'm a prophet. I know who's who out in these streets, right? And on that day, Thomas Jefferson Orange Wave went up against the Eagle Academy for Young Men 2 Eagle team, and it was a phenomenal game. It was actually decided by a walk-off 3-point shot. Phenomenal. And the winner that day, again, was Eagle, and they are led by Kevin Hamilton Jr., and he's here with us tonight. And I'm going to ask that you guys give him a round of applause and welcome him to the stage. The champ is here. Coach Kev, how you feeling?
Doing well, man. Thanks.
How's it feel to be a champion?
Feels good. Feels good. Can't complain.
That was a crazy game, up and down. You guys were behind for a big part of that game. How would you describe your emotions during that contest and what you were trying to project to your team as you guys were kind of behind for most of the ride?
It's hard to really describe the emotions. You know, you're so locked in, you prepare for that moment for so long. I think I was confident. You know, the guys worked really hard, and we've been through a lot of trials and tribulations on the way to that moment. So even when things got rough, I had confidence in my guys, and luckily we were able to pull it off.
I'm not going to ask if you ever doubted you would win, but I'm going to ask, did you ever start thinking, hey, what am I going to tell these guys in the locker room?
That honestly didn't go through my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, there were points in the game that I thought we were in trouble, for sure. Being down 6 points with less than 2 minutes left. One of our best players, our ball handler, Taj Bryant, fouling out.
Yeah.
Emar Jones fouling out, depending on guys who haven't been on the court that much or as much as those guys in those moments. But you know, those guys worked really hard every single day in practice. I had confidence that they'd be prepared for that moment because of that. Mm-hmm. And we were able to pull it off.
With champions, I'm always interested in that first moment when they're alone, after the confetti falls and the high fives and the hugs and the kisses. Like, do you remember your first time alone and like, wow, I'm a champion? Like, what do you think about? Where does your mind go in that moment?
It's hard to describe. I mean, the guys got to the locker room way before I did. I was celebrating like I was one of the kids running around the gym. But when I got in there, obviously we were really happy. I got sprayed with water bottles and stuff like that. But, you know, in that moment, obviously we had another game after that, and, you know, my mind starts to think about preparing for the next stages. But it was really important that we enjoyed that moment together. We celebrated each other, and we just, you know, had a moment that we stayed present.
Salute. I was watching the episode we did earlier this year. You played about 10 years overseas as a pro, and when you came home, you said you wasn't even really looking for a coaching opportunity. It just kind of came your way. The principal at Eagle thought you would be of value to the school as a basketball coach. What was that moment like with him after you had been crowned champion? Because for those who don't know, Eagle Academy in this city, that network, it's just about discipline, pride. Like, they their own movement over there. What was that moment like with your principal?
Man, it was great. I've known, you know, Rashad Mead for over 20 years. Me and his brother were best of friends. We were friends for very long. So, you know, it was gratifying for me, you know, him giving me that type of opportunity, being able to prove myself and bring something back to him for, you know, extending that opportunity to me. And, you know, it was a great moment. This is a guy that, you know, was a part of the founding of Eagle. 16 years he's been in that position. To have a moment like that was really special, and I was glad I was able to experience that with him.
What was it like walking in that school on Monday? Because the championship was played on Friday in the Barclays, phenomenal walker. What was it like walking in that school on Monday morning?
It was crazy. The guy Eddie that you mentioned that hit the three-pointer, he had security.
Nah.
He had some other students walking him from class to class to make sure nobody did anything to him. It was fun, man. It was really great. That school is a great environment to be in every day, and those kids deserve to have something to celebrate.
I did an episode with one of Coach Kev's players. I didn't release it yet. It's just a clip. But in that podcast, he said that when they walked into the locker room at the Barclays, their jerseys was hanging in the cubbies. They had new sneakers. Is that the procedure, or is that something that just Eagle did?
That wasn't the procedure the year before.
Right.
So, yeah, I think, Nike was really generous. Both teams received a bunch of stuff. But, yeah, I wasn't familiar with what was going to happen.
You played at Holy Cross in Massachusetts 4 years. Your junior year, you were the Conference Player of the Year. Is that Patriot League?
Yes.
That senior year, did you see that guys were more excited to play with you, not play against you, now that you were crowned Player of the Year?
I didn't notice. Every game, it's the highest level of competition in college basketball. So, I really didn't notice whether or not people were motivated to play against me. I was going out to try to do the best I could for my team.
What are you going to tell your guys about now being the marked man, now being the champion, as far as what they can expect moving forward?
Well, we kind of spoke about this the last time, being in a position where we went to the championship the year before, and the roles reversing. Coach Haskins was just explaining to me about the bullseye that's on your back when you're a champion and you get the best of each team. And I think the only thing you can do to combat that is it's about how you prepare for every single day in practice. If you give the right level of effort, if you're disciplined, if you're accountable, all you can do is let the chips fall where they fall at that point. So, I try not to get too caught up in the external stuff, what people perceive, how people are going to be coming at us. If we prepare the right way every single day, that's all you can ask for. Now,
throughout the summer, we've seen what we think is going to be the Eagle basketball team moving ahead. And you guys have retooled, but some pieces coming from other places. Talk to me about what it's going to take, or the dynamic. You have returning players that know the Eagle way, that have won a championship, and then you have some new pieces that are very talented and are expected to contribute to the squad, but incorporating that. Talk to me about what that dynamic is going to be like.
Yeah, it's a challenge. Like you mentioned, we got some new guys that are really good players, but they're not accustomed to our system, to my coaching style, to playing with certain people. We push these guys really hard. So that's usually an adjustment for the guys as well. So it's hard to say at this point what we're going to be. I think we're going to be really competitive. I like the attitude that we've taken so far in our workouts and stuff like that. But I anticipate we'll be a much better team in February than we are now.
Is this your first head coaching gig?
Yes.
At any level?
Yeah.
And you've had tremendous success in a short amount of time. Brooklyn Borough champion the year before, now a city champion. In my books that I read, leadership, John Wooden won 10 championships, and he always talked about getting better, actively searching for new information and trying to get better. Coach, what is your plan for personal development and to make sure that you continue to get better at your craft, even though you've had early success?
Once again, you asked me a question I'm not prepared for.
Oh, come on, Coach. I'm a great podcaster. That's what we do.
I think, I'm speaking to Coach Haskins. I speak to a lot of coaches that I have a lot of respect for that have more experience than me, just to learn things. I'm not naive. I know I don't know everything. Mm-hmm. I try to pick up things from books similar to you. But I think experience is the best teacher. And I think, being able to be, this year we play a more national schedule, being exposed to different teams in different states and different regions, playing against different styles and different coaches. You can absorb more, learn more about different tactics of how to be a better coach and how to have your team better prepared. So, I know I'm still in the learning process, even though we've had some success. But, I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Copy. Yo, anybody got any questions for the city champ? Coach Taz?
Bryce, no questions?
Yo, guys, give it up for Coach Kevin Hamilton Jr.